How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Michael Thurber, photojournalist and sociologist here at VEDA World News. And let me say something before we get started. We have a fantastic political candidate here. She is running for the 18th Congressional District. Ma'am, can you please tell the audience who you are?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Valencia Williams. As he rightfully said, I am a candidate for Texas's 18th Congressional District. Voting is on November the 4th. Please
Yes, it is.
Do not forget to vote for Valencia Williams. On November 4th, I am number 10 on the ballot.
Okay. Now, quick question here, just for the audience who may not be familiar with you as a candidate, you just never know who's watching. Are you falling on the Republican or Democratic ticket?
Democrat. I am a Democrat
Okay.
who was actually recruited by the Texas Democrat Party back in 2008. They came to
Really?
me and appointed me as Houston Harris County
So that
Precinct
means that
492.
they saw something special in you.
Yes.
Correct,
Yes.
correct. What made you start this political journey here? What was that spark of inspiration that you said, hey, listen, this is the time to do it now?
Well, I have been doing work in my community for over a year. For our seniors in my community, I did drives for talks for seniors, where I collected toiletries and those things. So our seniors wouldn't have to decide whether they were going to buy their medication, eat a good meal, or not have any money at all, or spend their money on toiletry items like toothpaste, toilet paper, socks, and those sort of things. So I decided I'm going to pick up the baton. I'm not going to complain about it.
Okay.
And then I also began to have toy drives for children whose mothers were incarcerated, but they were being raised by their grandparents. People don't understand the vital role that our elders play in the community. And we need to make sure we continue to respect and honor our elders. So I did that. And I did things like put people, our homeless veterans, in hotels.
Okay.
I've been feeding them meals, very nice meals, by the way. They eat at Boston Market and many other places around Houston, Texas. I've done that for 17 years.
Okay.
For our homeless veterans. And I've also, like I said, taken them off the streets and put them in hotels for a week at a time, sometimes 2 weeks, sometimes a month at a time, using my own money from my company, by the way.
Oh, really?
Nothing is government funded.
If you don't mind me asking, which company? Now, I'm assuming that you have more than one.
No. Well, I have one here and one overseas, but
Okay.
My company is L888 Corporation.
Okay, and what do you guys specialize in?
I'm a DoD contractor.
Really?
I contract with the Department of Defense.
Now, you know you're talking to a veteran at this table. You don't
I know that.
Okay.
I provided our United States military. It's all public information.
Okay.
They make all of our contracts public. I provided them with transportation. I provided them with furniture. I provided them with electronic, whatever they needed. My company has provided.
Let me say this publicly. As a veteran, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for servicing us. Thank you for everything that you do. In LA alone, we have over 10,000 homeless veterans, and these are not old veterans from Vietnam. These are younger veterans, Iraqi freedom, Afghanistan. These are the veterans that are homeless, in LA and elsewhere throughout the country. Thank you from the bottom of my heart here at VEDA World News. I greatly appreciate what you do for us, and we do not take that for granted. Going into politics, 18th Congressional District, what made you say this is the time to run?
Well, actually, when Sheila Jackson Lee passed away, I made a decision to run, but I was overseas at the time on an 8-year case.
Wow.
Yeah, on an 8-year criminal case where I was hired as an activist.
Okay.
And you can also Google that as well. And after 8 years, my client was set free from 27 criminal charges.
Wow. How did that come about?
Like I said, it was 8 years ago. I met Alhaji Seydou Agongo. He's a Muslim.
Okay.
And he's actually best friends with the current president of Ghana.
Wow.
And the regime changed. It's Ghana, it's Africa. And they decided to go after him because, of course, they couldn't go after his best friend, who was a former president. And they charged him with 27 criminal counts, saying that he defrauded the government of Ghana. And he called me, and he said, I'm in trouble, this is what they're saying. And it was basically about some fertilizer. Long story short, I'm telling you. It was actually fertilizer that I had recommended that he use because we in the United States, we use it.
Yeah.
And the fertilizer has a great yield.
Okay.
And all the farmers came and they testified. Long story short, They charged him with 27 criminal counts. He called me, told me about it. I've been advising him behind the scenes. So in 2022, he decided to take me from behind the scenes and push me in the forefront. And I was in the newspapers and all of those things. It's all public information. And I vowed to sue the government of Ghana if they did not let him go.
Wow.
I felt like they were religiously persecuting him because he was a Muslim.
Okay.
And also politically persecuting him. And so in 2002, when I came out, the United States State Department backed all my findings, but they still didn't want to let him go. And we kept on. I went publicly. I used my Facebook platform to prove his innocence.
Understood.
Oh, yes. And so finally, I went over in August 26th of 2023. I said, this case is going to end.
Just like that.
It's going to end because I've been telling them from afar, drop the charges, and they wouldn't listen, even though the evidence was piled against them. So I got on an airplane and I went over to Ghana and I said, hey, drop the charges. I'm telling you, drop the charges. It's not going to be good. It's not a good look.
You just got to Ghana and you just said that.
Yeah, drop the charges because it's not a good look for your judicial system. You already have a black eye from the United States State Department because of the corruption that's in your courts and in your government, and you were blacklisted by the EU. Drop the charges. I've already proven his innocence. And they refused. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to stay here until these charges are dropped.
Okay.
And finally, on January the 14th, the Attorney General dropped all 27 counts against my client.
Well, that is a success story within itself. Yeah.
Yes. Very first African-American person to go over to a foreign country and even do this sort of activism and to accomplish this particular thing.
Again, historic at best.
Yes.
Most definitely.
Yes.
Let's talk about that 18th district. What are your goals for the 18th district? What do you see? Where do you see the issues? What are your plans or processes set in place to address those issues and solve them?
Well, because I am someone who fights for people who I feel like are being oppressed. A lot of people say suppressed. The people in Texas's 18th Congressional District have been oppressed for a very long time.
What makes you say that?
I say that because there are monies that they should have in their hands. The community should look better than River Oaks, in my opinion.
Okay.
It should look better than Memorial. But because those monies are not being allocated to the people and into the places where they should be, like Fifth Ward, like Cashmere Gardens, like, all of those, the Heights area. We're just seeing them develop the Heights area. But what about the old historical communities like Fifth Ward?
So if that money is supposed to go to, the 18th Congressional District and the residents that reside in it, where is that money going now?
Well, I don't like to throw people under the bus, but I do like to speak facts. And at our debate, I asked Christian Menifee, where was the $5 million in relocation money for those residents because of the cancer cluster? And he specifically answered, he said that money is still with us, with the city of Houston.
Why?
That's the next question I'm going to ask him at the debate. Because it was allocated in 2023. So why are you holding $5 million?
2023, $5 million going to not necessarily to Christian Menifee, but to the city of Houston to fix or remedy this issue, and they're holding the funds.
They are holding the funds. And guess what else I discovered? In 2024, Mayor Whitmire actually allocated an additional $2 million.
So where did now $7 million go?
We're going to ask that at the next debate.
No, I'm serious. I mean, I think it's great that you're bringing that to light. You are not the first person that, sat here and asked, where's the money? And it's a very big deal. And there's a lot of people in the 18th Congressional District, 5th Ward, that actually need those funds to advance their socioeconomic outcomes.
Yes, they do. Well, they're living in a cancer cluster.
Yes.
And Christian Menifee said that they wanted to live in a cancer cluster. So meaning that they want to die.
Are you sure you're not misquoting him at this particular time? He actually said they want, well, yes.
Exactly. You were there. He said
I was there. I just wanted to make sure for the clarity for the public.
Yes, he said that there were people who did not want to move out of the cancer cluster.
Okay. Can we put that into a little bit of a context? Is there a certain context that he possibly may have meant that as? That maybe they didn't want to move because they lived there for so long, and maybe they have historical family roots, or they just plain out, I want to live here.
Everyone has historical roots, but who wants to die?
Understood. Understood.
If you give me an opportunity to move out of an area that is killing me, that is killing my children, my grandchildren, the next generation to come, my husband, my uncle, my aunt, my grandmother, why wouldn't I take that opportunity?
Okay.
They're not on a suicide mission.
This is true. Let's transition into education. How is education in the 18th District?
I've actually spoken to a lot of the youth, especially over in the CUNY homes.
Okay.
I enjoyed my visit to the CUNY homes. And let me tell you something. It is nothing like people say. They try to make the CUNY homes look like a jungle.
Okay.
I went there, you could hear a pin drop.
Really?
You could hear a pin drop. Every single resident in the CUNY home, thank you so much, you guys. They were very hospitable. They offered me food, water, whatever I needed. I went door to door when I was gathering my 500 signatures. And I stayed there for hours. The CUNY homes is exactly like where I lived in Memorial, no different.
Okay.
Except for the infrastructure, which
And we'll
needs to
talk
be
about that in a
improved,
second.
which definitely needs to be improved. But I spoke to a lot of young people, and you know what they told me? They said, number one, they're tired of police people harassing them.
Okay.
But their main goal was, and it was funny because they were college students and they were worried about the next generation. 2 young black men said to me, you know, at our high schools, what they don't teach us? They don't teach us life skills. And
Really?
if they had taught us life skills, that it was going to be like this,
Wow.
we would have done something totally
Would you
different.
advocate for the teaching of life skill and things such as home economics, bringing that back into the high schools?
Absolutely. I mean, home ec was great. Wood shop was great. It
So
taught
we're
them
talking vocational at this point.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it taught us all a lot. It taught
Gotcha.
us how to cut wood. Remember those paddles we used to get hit with?
I don't want to talk about that because I'm still traumatized by that.
It's okay. Bring it back into the schools. You know, spare the rod,
Spoil the child.
spoil the child. Bring that back. Make it an option for parents to once again say that if my child acts up, you can pop them.
Okay.
Because these children are popping teachers.
It seems like this is absolutely true. I can't speak to the number of educators that have been put into a coma from the assaults coming from students in their classrooms.
Absolutely.
Right here, not only in Texas, but Chicago,
Right.
New York, LA, all across this country.
I believed in the paddle. I used to call it because I have all sons.
Okay.
And I did not spare the rod. And I had one of my friends to actually make me one of those paddles, and one
Get
day
out of town.
I did. And I used to call it the Board of Education.
That's a good one. You know what? I would not be surprised if someone makes a meme and has the paddle and call it the Board of Education, got you in the background. Like, I would not be surprised, but that is a good one.
Yes,
That is a good one.
No. I used to call it the Board of Education. I can call them right now, and they will tell you that I did not spare the Board of Education.
Okay. I appreciate
And
well, I think a lot of
so-
people can appreciate that.
Yeah, no, we
Yes.
need to bring all of those things back into the schools. And for these young men, they were like 18 years old, to say that we need life skills.
Now, what kind of life skills do you think the youth need? Not only in 18th Congressional District, but around the country.
They need to learn how to plan financially.
Okay.
They need to learn how to balance a checkbook.
Do people still write checks?
Yes,
I have never wrote a check.
really.
Never.
Oh no, people still write checks.
Okay, unless it's a money order or something like
No,
that.
no,
But that's
no.
not a check.
People still write checks, and I accept checks, by the way.
Oh.
My campaign accepts checks.
All right.
Things like social skills.
Yes.
They don't know how to communicate anymore.
Well, you know what?
Everything is text message.
It
text
is.
message.
It is. And that was one of the major complaints that a lot of people in the dating arena, excluding myself. I'm a very old person, so I don't have no business over there, okay? But I do listen to people, and they say, listen, when we sit at a table, we're going out to dinner to eat, This person's on their cell phone.
Yeah, they do not know how to properly communicate. You can't sit in front of someone who's interviewing you for a job without being able to articulate yourself.
This is true.
You can have all the skills in the world, but if you are not able to articulate yourself to the person who's interviewing you, then you are in trouble. So we need to also prepare them for the workforce.
Yes, yes. And speaking of workforce, and we'll get to infrastructure in a second, what is going on as far as jobs paying livable wages in the 18th Congressional District? And throughout Houston, by the way, again, is over 760 square miles. Okay, we have ConocoPhillips laying off 25% of its workforce. Right. We have another 500 people, another 1,000 people being laid off. The jobs are not paying people. I'm not talking about Starbucks.
They're laying off people.
They are laying off people.
Laying off people.
But again, they make good coffee, but I want to talk about Starbucks.
Okay.
We want to talk about 18th Congressional District and what Miss Valencia plan is to attack that.
Well, back in 2017, I actually spoke to many of our local political leaders to encourage them to raise the minimum wage from $7.25 to $17 an hour. That was back in 2017.
Okay.
Why did I do that? Because people do not need to live comfortably.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you just a slight bit of pushback on that, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate. I would advocate for no minimum wage. I'm going to tell you why. And this is a point of personal privilege.
Okay.
Because when we raise the minimum wage to $17, $20, $30 an hour,
okay,
that loaf of bread that used to cost $4 now costs $15. So in my mind, my very limited mind as a journalist, simple journalist, if jobs say I'll only pay you $4.50 an hour, how could we sell an apartment for $1,500 here in Houston, $1,000 here in Houston, if people are unable to even make that? Given the fact that 47% of Houston residents are one paycheck away from being evicted from their homes.
So then you are afraid of tariffs being imposed upon people if we raise the minimum wage.
Is this a challenge here? You are talking to a geopolitical person.
You are afraid of tariffs. Yes, you are. That's a tariff. Whenever you increase something on a product, that's a tariff.
I would say this, because now you're putting me on the spot. Okay. I am not.
But let me go back to that.
Okay, go ahead. I'm gonna let you go because you're the guest.
Let me go back to that $17 an hour.
Okay.
Why can't we raise minimum wage to $17 an hour? Guess who pays $17 an hour for minimum wage already?
Starbucks.
Chick-fil-A.
Yes, they do.
But has the price of bread gone up in Houston? No. Has the cost of living went up in Houston? No.
But I think that's a very extreme example.
No.
That's a very small sample.
It's a real life reality fact.
It is a fact. And I don't doubt that not one bit.
And you said Starbucks is able to do it, and our bread has not went up. Our butter has not went up. I'm about bread and butter.
Butter is expensive.
I'm about bread and butter. Well, you better start buying Imperial, 89 cents.
No. We will do no such
Imperial butter.
I am too bourgeois for such. I will not.
So, none of these things have water has not went up. We got this bottle of water for 50 cents. So we don't have to worry about tariffs being increased in Houston or in Texas if we raise the minimum wage up to $17 an hour. And these two companies who have done so, it has not affected us in any sort of way. No tariffs have been imposed on our products.
Small businesses? Small businesses, medium-sized businesses are the heart of America.
Yes, they are.
What if they're unable to pay $17 an hour?
Well, if they are unable, when you own a business, because I'm a small business owner, and I began my business in 2016 with my income tax check.
Yes.
I sacrificed my entire income tax check. As a matter of fact, how I became a contractor with the Department of Defense was I had to make a decision. Either I'm going to pay my rent or I'm going to honor the Department of Defense's invitation to come to the Pentagon for a contract that I knew that I could not do. I went to the
Everybody
Pentagon.
does not have that heart and that tenacity.
I
like
understand that. I understand that. So when you own a business, there is risk and reward.
There is.
And it is a fact that minority Black-owned businesses do need to increase revenues. How do they do that? They have to reach a broader base.
And how do you suppose they do that?
You can't be single-minded. Yes, we as Black people should support each other. We should. But what is the reality? We do support each other. Some of us do. But you have to reach a broader base. Texas's 18th Congressional District isn't just Fifth Ward and Cashmere Gardens.
This is true.
It's also Pinemont, where you have Polish people. I discovered when I went and knocked on doors to get my 500 signatures, that they actually have a large population of Polish people in Texas's 18th Congressional District.
Wow.
They actually invited me to one of their events, which I will honor and go to.
Okay.
There are a lot of Caucasian people in Texas's 18th Congressional District. When you're doing business, you are doing business, and it is open to the public, and that includes everyone of every gender, every race, every religion, every socioeconomical status. But when you close your mind to say, I'm Black-owned, and because I'm Black-owned and because of our history, slavery and Jim Crow, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to gripe because my people should support me because I'm Black. Where is that written?
Nowhere.
It's not written anywhere that I have to support you because I'm Black. I am coming to your business as an initial person, patronizing your business because I want to see what you have to offer.
True.
And what you have to offer, if it's good, I'm going to repeat, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to encourage other people to come back. And that may be white people, it may be Hispanic people, it may be Asian people.
In essence, you are a champion of what's called the free market.
Absolutely.
Okay, and Adam Smith's hand of the hidden hand.
Absolutely.
Understood.
Absolutely. And if more Black-owned businesses would get out of that bubble, expand their territory, you may get business by going to Atlanta.
This is true.
You may get business by going to Chicago. You may get business by going to Dubai.
Understood.
Because this is Houston. We are the hub of conventions here. People come here, they have conventions, they have all kinds of shows, and they come from all over the world.
They actually do, and I can attest to that.
Yes, they do. So then, since we know that Houston is a hub of diversity, where people from every single culture, every single country comes to Houston, Texas to do business, to hold conventions, then it behooves you to take that knowledge and now go to Dubai. Reach out to Dubai. To make that trip to Dubai, see how their culture is, study them a little bit. So then when they do have conventions, before they even say they're having conventions, you announce, hey, we're having FIFA World Cup here.
Yes.
Yes, we're having FIFA World Cup here in Houston, Texas.
I think 7 or 9 games, I believe, is going to be here.
It is going to be awesome.
I was told that we do not
have
have enough housing for that.
I am.
I'm
a
lot of people.
I'm surprised. Oh my God! People from all over the world are coming, and with my extensive travels, I've traveled to 6 of the 7 continents. I am excited for our city. I'm excited for those people coming from Asia, from the Middle East, from Central America, from everywhere, from China, from everywhere, from Africa, of course. When I do look forward to being on the Foreign Affairs Committee, so I can now head the African subcommittee on Africa, by the way.
I got you.
Yes, definitely. And the Veterans Committee as well.
Well, thank you.
No, of course. No. I'm pushing for our veterans. And so when it comes to business, people need to expand their territory.
Understood.
And if that means getting on a plane and going to the Middle East, go to the Middle East. Don't say, these people don't like us. Well, it's okay. Your own people don't like you.
This is also true.
We're not in high school. It's not a popularity contest. You are a business owner, and you want business. You want to increase your revenues, and that requires for you to step out of your complacency.
Okay.
Spend that money on an airplane ticket. Dubai also has conventions, by the way.
They do.
Attend conventions in Dubai. Attend conventions in Saudi Arabia. Attend conventions not in China, in Japan.
Hold on, wait. I'm scratching my head now You are excluding China, and we're scratching on the geopolitical front here. Why?
I'm excluding China because they're our competitor in so many fields and markets, and I would rather for us to bring manufacturing jobs back here so that we can employ more of our talented people to provide products for Apple phones and for our cars and all those things.
I'm giving you 2 points of pushback, given the fact that you stated that people should be open-minded. Should they not be open-minded to doing business in China?
No.
Okay. You standing on that, and I respect that.
No, we have many talented people here that can do a better job than those people, those manufacturers over in China. That's how I feel.
I think it's a little bit more complex than that.
We have talented people here in the United States of America.
There's talented people all over the world, man.
There are, but we have more talented people in the United States of America that can manufacture the same products that we send over to China to manufacture, and we can do a better job. At least our stuff won't break in 6 months, and then we have to buy them all over again.
Well, there's a lot to be said about that. It is a lot to be said about that, and I think that there are some things I do agree with you on, as not only as a journalist but as a geopolitical person. There are some things I don't, and I do understand that while there are a great many talented people here, from engineers, doctors, attorneys, all over, right here in this country, that can do the same work.
But there are people here who do not have degrees, who are just naturally talented.
This is absolutely true, and they're making millions off doing so,
millions.
Right? But
yes.
when you look at the overall totality, I think it's more than just simply being talented. It comes down to cost, the ability to manufacture and to manufacture quickly, the ability to not alienate oneself on an international scale. And these are all the things that we're experiencing right now in this country. Right now, I just cut an article this morning on soybeans. Argentina and Brazil have locked down a tremendous deal with China as far as soybeans. China has canceled all soybean imports and exports with America. So I think that there's a lot to be learned from that, and that we should not be so quick to exclude international partners and powerhouses like China, because China is the world's manufacturing plant, no matter how we look at that.
Yes, they are. They currently are. But that does not mean that there is not room for someone else to come in.
I think you're right on that.
And when it comes to employment in Texas's 18th Congressional District and across the United States of America, I believe that we would be able to lower the production cost of a lot of products here in the United States of America, and we can offer those products globally.
Such as?
We have the capability to do so. Again, products like the iPhone. That little glass that breaks on the back of our iPhone, we have to get that from China. So when China gets angry or gets in one of their little tizzies, they shut down the whole market.
I am advocating for China because I have to, because I cannot let it slide.
Look what they did. Konnichiwa.
That is Japan.
I know, exactly.
And they in trouble too.
Exactly. And to China, ni hao. I don't have anything against the Chinese, by the way.
I got you.
But when their president, who gets into his little tizzies, he likes to shut down things. He likes to say, well, guess what? We're going to do to Apple. We're not going to produce anything for Apple. He just wakes up and decides to do that.
But he can do that.
That's the whole point. Why would you, if China is such a great business hub, why would you wake up one morning and make such a decision? Because it affects business.
Giving pushback, playing devil's advocate, if China is not such a great business hub, why do we continue to keep doing business with them?
Well, I don't do business with China. I don't get any of my products from China, by the way. I'd rather go to Africa. My shoes that I have on, everyone always says, your shoes are so cute. Guess where they were made? Right there in Ghana.
That's good.
Yeah. So they hand make shoes with great leather and everything. I
do believe that to be true.
Yes. I mean, Africa is a great market for the United States of America. Every country, every single nation has a foothold in one or several countries in Africa.
Well, I think
so. My question would be: why do we have manufacturing jobs in China when Africa makes better products?
Manufacturing and logistic capabilities. Africa is a great place.
We know.
Has a lot of oil and gas, but also a lot of overt corruption there, a lot of meddling there from other countries.
Right.
But look at Burkina Faso.
Oh.
Look at Chad, Niger. Look at all of the throughout the Sahel region. I write very extensively about the Sahel. That's why I know this. The Sahel region has now pushed Western countries out.
Right, because they think they're getting a better deal with Russia and China, not knowing that China is a mob boss.
And America is not?
No, we are not bullies. The United States of America, unlike China, this is a fact. Please Google it. China, I don't know what country it was in Africa, but I can Google it. They borrowed money from China. China came in and said, we want our money now.
They can do that.
Of course they
as a creditor.
Of course they said, we don't have your money, but China already knew that. They said, okay, since you don't have our money, we're going to take your airport.
That's what we do.
No, we have not seized anyone's airport.
We just seized Russian assets in 2022.
Well, we should.
Why?
Why? Because they're bullying Ukraine.
That's not true. No, I'm going to give you pushback now.
Hold on.
I'm do it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Let's stick to China. Let's stick to China before we cross over to Vlad. I call him Vlad, by the way.
Okay.
And I also call him the angel of death.
That's not true, but okay.
When it comes to China and the United States moving out of China into places, not just like Africa, but also into South America and those places. If we redistributed our investments into countries that we know that we can develop manufacturing plants, not all of the manufacturing plants from China, because I'm still about us revamping our manufacturing plants here in the United States of America. We need to get those wheels going. We need to turn the lights back on, and we need to put people back to work when it comes to the manufacturing jobs. We really need to.
Okay.
I believe that wholeheartedly we do provide an inferior product to China, especially when it comes to the automotive industry. And I'm going to continue to say that.
You said inferior now. You
Yes.
did say inferior.
Sorry, superior.
I'm going to give you pushback on that one too.
Superior. Of course you are. I expect you to. And so when it comes to us moving some of our manufacturing to Africa, because they do have great products, leather, textiles, so many things, bamboo, wood, a lot of things we can use from the African diaspora. Then we need to make sure we go into countries where other countries do not have a chokehold. You said a foothold. No, countries like China and Russia have a chokehold on those countries. There's a difference between having your foot somewhere and having a chokehold on them. That particular country, we're going to Google it, or someone can Google it, where China came in and said, you can't pay us our money. We know you can't pay us our money. We already do. You couldn't pay it to us before we even gave it to you.
But this is what precisely caused the 2008 housing crisis, when right here in this country, our government gave people loans that they knew they couldn't pay, even bet on those loans on Wall Street.
Right. But we're talking about trade here. And so restoring jobs back to the United States of America. And back to Texas's 18th Congressional District.
Yes, ma'am.
Especially our automotive manufacturing plants. We really need to turn the lights back on. We've never went into any country like China did in Africa and said, we know you can't pay us, give us our money now. We know you can't give us our money now, so we're going to just take your airport. If a government official would not have raised his voice and said, China is trying to take our air, they're trying to seize our airspace, China would have had their airspace. But because
which country was that?
I don't know. Maybe
it's an African country?
It's an African country.
Okay.
And thankfully, that one bold government official stood up and said something, and then China backed off. So if it was the right thing to do, why didn't China say, we gave them a loan, we're going to seize their airspace because they can't pay us our loan? No, China backed off and said, keep your airspace, because they knew what they were doing was not right. The United States of America is not the bully here. China is, and so is Russia. Vladimir Putin, if you don't obey him, he will deal with you accordingly. And that's just who he is. I don't want to call him, or even the president of China, Xi Jinping, a dictator or any of those things, because that's how they run their country.
Correct.
I don't impugn on how people run their country.
Okay.
It's just that when you try
And
to...
that's fair.
Oh, no, no, no. And I don't want to tell people how to run their country. That's how you run your country. That's you. Whether it fails or succeeds, it's on your head and on your shoulders, not on
Well,
mine.
I don't know. I look at countries such as China, and I look at countries such as Russia. Back in the 80s, excuse me, China was really just a poor place. It's not a really industrialized place like that, but look what China has accomplished in 30 and 40 years.
Right.
Coming from essentially nothing to they have the largest middle class in the entire world.
Right.
We have the largest gap between the rich and the poor in the world. You see what I'm saying? When you look at Russia, you look where Vladimir Putin has brought Russia from, all the way from 2000, all the way into now. It's astronomical.
Right.
Even in despite of American-led sanctions
Right.
onto Russia, there are like 20,000 plus sanctions on Russia right now, and Russia is still thriving. It's still growing, economically giving great output. These are things that are published. These are actual factual findings that right now places like China, places like Russia are on the rise. BRIC nations, for the exception of India, right, are on the rise, and America is on the fall.
I beg to differ because China's GDP has dropped by 5%.
Yeah, but China's GDP actually exceeded the United States.
Their GDP has dropped 5%, so they cannot be on the increase when their GDP is decreasing. That's not
necessarily
possible.
true.
That's not possible.
I just saw a BYD, a Build Your Dream SUV. It's a fabulous SUV coming out of China. I just saw one 2 days ago. It's all electric.
It's on the streets here in Houston.
Yes, one person had it. They had to pay a heavy price to get it here, though, through tariffs.
I'm
but
sure.
It's here.
Okay.
And I looked at that and I say, how come we can't have that? Right now, China can build a brand new car and sell it in China on an American dollar for $8,000. We can't do that.
We can. Can and actually will are two different things.
This is true.
Are two different things. And again, let's see what that product looks like in about 6 months, because we know that when you buy from China, it breaks very easily.
I don't know. I don't know.
It breaks very easily.
I'm looking at Pakistan. I'm looking at the war between India and Pakistan, the J-10, which is a Chinese-made plane, severely defeated France's design on their aircraft. J-10 is running things. It's combat proven at this point in time. People want those orders. American weapon sales, they're still there.
Absolutely.
But they're falling.
Falling? How are we falling?
In a sense that, and again, I'm not picking sides. I'm only stating facts based upon the numbers. So when you look at what we do as Americans, right? We will sell a country weapons. That's how this country really makes its money, through weapon sales.
Of course.
Right? Inside those weapon sales, there's two things. One, maintenance. Right? We purposely don't make the best weapons so we can stay in that country to maintain those weapons. And two,
is that a fact?
That is a fact.
Really?
Guaranteed. I'm military. I've seen it.
Where can I Google that?
Go on to the base. I'm from Fort Bragg.
Okay.
I've been in the motor pool. Those Humvees break down like that. Like that. They do.
Really?
Yes, they do. And they're always being worked on.
Really?
And even the weapons that we sell to Saudi Arabia, those weapons always get worked on continuously. And that's how we stay there. And then on top of that, even with the planes and the missile systems that we send, we put kill switches in them. We do. So just in case someone gets the bright idea to launch one of those things back at us, we just flip the switch. And we also
Which is smart
dictate what these countries can do and when they can deploy and how they can deploy those weapons. Otherwise, with China just sells you what you paid for. They don't care what you do with it.
That says a lot about them. And that goes back to my whole China is the actual bully.
It's not a bully.
They don't care.
I don't see China as a bully. I see China as being in the business of doing business.
At what cost?
It's business.
It's not business. That's not good business.
Well,
They-
define good business.
China does not practice good governance. But
How
back
do you
to
define that?
But back to Texas's 18th Congressional District, and even speaking of the Chinese population here in Houston, Texas,
Mhm.
you have found that when it comes to African American people, and I spoke to a young man. He came to me. He said he was selling hair care products.
Okay.
For a Chinese company that just opened here in Houston, Texas. We welcome all business here in Houston. Houston is very diverse.
It is.
Houston is a reflection of our country.
It is.
And we're very diverse. And he said that he was selling it for a Chinese company that just came here in Houston. Thank you for investing. Your business, bringing your business to Houston, especially to Texas. It's great. Business is great here. We have great tax incentives for businesses and so on and so forth. And we have a great market, being that we are an international hub. And I said, why are you selling their product? Why did they choose you as an African American man to sell their hair care products? And why are you approaching me as a black woman? I said, I'm asking you these two things because I don't want to ambush you. Number one, they put their businesses in the black community. All of their businesses are centrally located in the black community. They don't put them in any other community. And we invest billions of dollars into all of their businesses, but they don't do any kind of social justice. They don't give anything back to the black community. So they take in billions of dollars from us, but they refuse to invest one dime into places like Fifth Ward, which is a cancer cluster.
Do you feel is your perspective that Chinese businesses that operate in this particular fashion, as you're stating, owes black people something?
I didn't say they owe us anything, but that goes to the humanistic part of it. And again, to Xi Jinping, because like you said, he doesn't care.
That's not true. I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
I said he doesn't care what you do with the weapons.
Exactly.
When he sells them to you. It's very different than saying he doesn't care.
He doesn't care what you do with the weapons. You can kill children with them, and he's okay with that as long as you buy from him. And that is the whole ideology. That is the whole mindset that I'm talking about when it comes to Chinese people being in black communities. All of their businesses, every single last one, with the exception of Bel Air, all of their businesses, and even Bel Air, they can have all the signs over there, but that's still a predominantly minority community over there. They put their businesses in predominantly black communities, and what do they give back? They give absolutely nothing back.
But that is the spirit of capitalism. There's no thing that says you have to give back.
I didn't say they have to, but the humanistic part of them would say, you know what? We receive so much. The black community has supported us so much throughout the years. Whilst other people are putting them out of our country, through laws. They can't buy land here anymore, anywhere in Texas or throughout the United States of America. It was signed into law by the House of Representatives, by the Congress, and by the Texas legislature, by an overwhelming majority, whether they are Democrats or Republicans or independents. But black people have supported the Chinese community with billions and trillions of dollars to the point where they have their own community over on Bel Air. You would think the human side of them would say, you know what, let's support those who have supported us. But they do not. Instead, when a black person walks into their business and they look a certain way, they begin to hawk them in their businesses. They begin to ask them, hey, what are you doing on your cell phone? Hey, don't bring your backpack in here. Hey, only 2 of you can come in here at a time.
But there's many stores that implement these practices.
We're specifically speaking about China and their lack of humanity when it comes to African American people.
Let me ask you a question. Since you're speaking on humanity and goodwill towards men, if elected into office, will the Israeli lobby control you?
Everyone knows that I'm a staunch supporter of Israel. I support Israel. I support Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister, and I will always be a supporter of Israel.
Why? I'm just curious.
Why am I supportive of Israel? The fact of the matter is that on October the 7th, what was done was a total injustice. It was terrorism. It was terrorism by Hamas, not by the Palestinians, not by the people in Gaza, but by a terrorist organization. And that terrorist organization had been operating in Palestine for many years, using the Palestinian people as a shield.
Are you sure about that?
Using the Palestinian people as a shield because those people do not care. Whilst Palestinian people walked around freely, they were really not free, they were shields. Over in Gaza, they are doing the same thing to the Gazan people. I have spoken about this publicly. I support Palestine being an independent state.
Okay.
I've also said if elected as a congressional member, I would introduce legislation for them to be an independent state.
Okay.
I would also support them forming their own government and having their own elections so that we can now give aid from the Congress to the Palestinian people.
We are already giving aid, are we not?
No, we are not. We are not giving aid to Palestine like we should be because Palestine is not an independent state.
I think there's a disconnect here. You stated that you don't believe that we're giving them aid as they should be, which implies that we are giving them some kind of aid.
We are giving them some kind of aid, but it's not reaching them because they do not have a government in Palestine. Who are we giving the aid to if there is no government structure there? There's no president, there's no parliament, there's no House of Representatives.
There is the Palestinian Authority there. That's one. On top of that, 65,000 going on 67,000 Gazans and Palestinians have been killed by Israel, in which 75 to 80% are women and children.
Correct. And again, I have also said this publicly.
That.
I do not support the killing of any human being.
But you support Israel.
I do not support the killing of any innocent human being.
Okay.
Having said that, let me expand on that. Again,
Please.
Those people, the Palestinians and the Gazans, are only in harm's way because of Hamas. Once Hamas is driven out of an area like they were driven out of Palestine, now those people in Palestine are free to actually walk around as they want to. They are free to do what they want to do. The only thing that is lacking in Palestine is the formation of a government, which is why I support them as an independent state. So now we can give direct aid to the leaders in which the Palestinian, hold on one second, in which the Palestinian people themselves choose to be their government leaders. Now that money is issued to their president. It is issued to the members of parliament who will represent their different communities, just like we have in the United States of America. And then that money will now get directly to the Palestinian people versus giving it to an authoritarian regime that's now ruling Palestine. That's why the people are not getting it, because there's no structure. And once they structure their government, once they put their local leaders in place, whom they elect, once they have an election, they may have to use one building for an election. Once they now elect local leaders, and we now allocate those monies to those local leaders will now ensure the people in their communities, just like I'm trying to do, will get the necessary aid that they need. And the infrastructure will be rebuilt in Palestine, better than what it is now. But that's only happening because Israel decided to step up and say, we're going to run Hamas out of there. It's enough of them using you guys as human shields. Hamas is now using the Gaza people because they were chased out of Palestine. Now they're in Gaza. And now, unfortunately, those people in Gaza have become their shields. And they are hiding behind those people. And it's not fair what Hamas is doing. Israel is not targeting the Palestinian people, nor is Israel targeting the Gazan people. They are targeting Hamas, who is still holding...
I don't know.
Hold on one second. Who's still holding several hostages. A lot of people's children and family members and husbands and wives. I don't know if you've actually been to war, but the cries that you hear of people who are in those sort of desperate situations. And again, who put those people in those situations? It was Hamas. They were holding the Palestinian people hostage, just like they're continuing to hold those people that they have as hostages, and now they're holding the Gazan people as hostages. What I would like to have seen, to be perfectly honest, if you want me to be honest and frank with you, what I would like to have seen from Israel and from all of our partners around the world is that they actually put troops on the ground like they did for Osama bin Laden, or Usama bin Laden, that's his name, that's how you pronounce it, like they did for Saddam Hussein. And they directly target them
Let's
get
pull
to,
this one.
and hold on, and get to where Hamas actually is, and do what is necessary to set everyone free. The Palestinian people, the Gazan people, and the hostages that
Okay.
Hamas is holding in their custody
I'm going to
free.
give a very quick rebuttal because you brought up several different complex points here. Are you aware that Israel funded Hamas? Like, seriously gave them billions of dollars to be where they are today?
I am unaware of that. I would have to look into that.
Please do. I do have to inform you of that. That is a true fact.
I would have to look into that.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pays Hamas for decades. When you talk about Saddam Hussein and you talk about Osama bin Laden, with Saddam, he was accused of having weapons of mass destruction. And Bush at that time was warned by several people that he does not possess weapons of mass destruction. There was no evidence, CIA, DIA, or otherwise, that he had weapons of mass destruction. Yet, we went there. That country now is in ruins. When you look at Libya in the Arab Spring, that country is in ruins. Never to be what it used to be or what they wanted to be ever again. When you look at what's happening in Israel, in the cabinet of Prime Minister Netanyahu, they have infighting right now as we speak. They really don't want him there. A lot of people in Israel who actually live there are citizens. They really don't want him there.
A lot of people don't want me to be Texas's next
This is true.
congressional district Congress member.
But for this catastrophe that's there, this is a man-made famine that we're talking about. It's man-made. There's no denying that. I, in good conscience, as a reporter, as a journalist, I would have to give you pushback on your statement. Now, I want you to stay on your statement because that is how you feel, and nobody has the right to take that from you, not one bit.
Oh, absolutely.
No,
I stand firm.
I would never attempt to persuade you to do anything other than that.
Oh, yes, I stand firm.
But I do have to correct the historical record.
Mm-hmm.
It's my responsibility
Mm-hmm.
to do that here. There is just so much that you spoke on that I really think that you may want to take a look at. Not telling you what to do. That's not my job.
Mm-hmm.
But I would caution.
Well, thank you for the caution, but I stand firm on my support for Israel.
It's okay. You can support whoever.
Yes.
This is VEDA World News. We don't pick sides politically. We don't. We only support the facts. We only report the facts. That is it.
Absolutely, and
Yes,
I appreciate that.
And I appreciate you for being here.
I appreciate that.
How you want to close this one out? Because this is very deep, and I think that a lot of people are going to find this one to be not just entertaining, but informative.
Absolutely, because when you are in the United States Congress, it's not just about the district. It's also about the city.
Yes.
It's also about the state. And it's also about having foreign affairs experience.
True.
Because you will have to sit at the table with some of these people.
Yes, very much so.
You will have to, and you need that particular experience. And I have that experience. Back in 2010, I actually sat at the table with all of Ghana's heads of their military services.
Okay.
And I advised them on a flood assessment plan. I came up with a flood assessment plan. They adopted it. So I've sat with foreign dignitaries for many, many years, since 2010, actually sat at those tables. And what I have to say is, because Houston is so diverse, and more people keep coming.
Yes.
You know, people ask me, how do I feel about redistricting? And I said, oh, thank you, Greg Abbott. The more the merrier for me. That's just more people to take care of.
Okay.
Bring them on. Expand our district. You know, expand Texas's 18th Congressional District. The more people, the merrier it is for us. The more people to care for, the more people that can unify and come together and help one another to make Texas's 18th Congressional District the district that I know that it can be, because this country was built, Black people, we've done a tremendous job in this country. Infrastructure, construction, the roads, the buildings, everything you see that has lasted this long. It's like the pyramids in Egypt.
Okay.
I always tell them, listen, the pyramids are still standing, even till today, but who were they built by? The roads that were built by, African-American people, those roads are still standing today.
This is true.
They are still, that infrastructure is still standing today.
How can people find you?
You can go to my website, Valencia, 4congress.com. And you can leave a message there, actually. You can message me.
Please leave a message. And please, any question that you may have, drop her a message. She's a very engaging guest here on VEDA World News. Anything else?
Well, I'm running for Texas's 18th Congressional District to continue my service. I want to continue to serve and to be of service to every single resident in Texas's 18th Congressional District. So elect me on November 4th. Early voting is October 21st, and I believe it ends on October the 24th. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
It is an absolute pleasure
really
to speak
appreciate
with you,
it.
and I appreciate you coming on down here to VEDA World News. Thank you for all the work you've done, especially for us veterans.
Of course.
No one will ever take that from you.
I will continue.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
My name is Michael Thurville. This is VEDA World News, photojournalist and sociologist. You can catch this episode and more at VEDA.com with 2 M's. That is VEDACOMM.com. See you on the next one.